depending on what side of the spinning earth you are on. Good morning, good evening, or good day to you. Did you guys check out my metal bench vise? It is a lot of fun to make. When you use the same exact medium for your work, woodworking, then it's fun to just get out of the mold just a little bit. Think outside of the box and do something differently. But if you're in a position like myself or somebody else who makes regular uploaded videos to YouTube, then there's a certain few people that just, oh my gosh, you're not allowed to do anything other than what you've done previously because this is what you're allowed to do and that's just what you're allowed to do and I said so. And come on, man. Really? That's so closed-minded to think that if you have typically done this particular thing, you're not allowed to do anything ever again. That's like a mechanic by trade. You're a mechanic and you come home and you want to replace a board on your back porch. You're not allowed to do that. You're a mechanic. What's wrong with you? You're not allowed to replace a board on your porch. You're a mechanic. It's nonsense. It's kind of funny, though. I don't really get upset about it. It's just, you don't have to be that close-minded. Just accept it for what it is. And not only that, but on YouTube, the title of the video typically explains what's going on in the video. So if you instantly look at the title and like, I'm not gonna like this one, and then you watch it and you're like, no, I don't approve of this one. Why the hell did you watch it in the first place? You know what the title was? I don't get it. And I'm not necessarily speaking 100% on my stuff. The vast majority of the comments on, as a matter of fact, I think there was only one grumpy butt comment on the metal vise. But I'm just speaking out loud for multiple channels on YouTube. There's a lot of us that create stuff and the comment section on YouTube. But anyway, I have no clue where I was going with that. Just a little comical rant, I guess. Having a little fun with it. But back to the, oh, that's heavy. Metal vise. Wow, that's heavier than I thought. Okay, so this morning I came out here and I closed up the tubes on the jaws. And I took some advice and grounded them off a little bit. God, this is making me feel like a wuss. So that's what a nice ground off weld looks like. Not really nice, but that's what a weld looks like when it's all ground off and yeah. And that is the ugly one, so you get the idea. So that metal bench vise was a last minute project. I've been wanting to make one for a while, but I didn't anticipate making one last week. It was a substitution, I guess you could say. My original objective was to make the first part of the miter saw station wall, and I purchased, it was last Monday or Tuesday, I purchased 10 sheets of 3/4 inch plywood. I got a deal on them from a local supplier that I previously used this stuff before with good results, so I took the chance of getting it again, saved about $100 or so, and got it all here in the shop, unloaded it. Some of you may already know, but if you don't, I'm going to tell you anyway. Started cutting it up, and as I was going through the table saw, some of the smaller pieces were just falling apart. I didn't notice how bad it was until I got all of the stuff cut and ready for assembly. Once I started to get into the assembly process, I'm like, whoa, those aren't just little voids, that's just delamination. And I could literally pull the plywood apart. It was absolutely ridiculous. So, the outsides looked great on the pieces, get into the inside, and it's all just absolute trash. Cheap Chinese crap. And I got stuck with it for that day. I ended up wasting, 6 or 8 hours, I forget, of manual labor, cutting all this stuff up. I was so pissed off. So the next day, I took it back, spoke with people at the business I bought it from, got my refund, even for the cut sheets and everything. So they made it right in the long run, but I'll never do that again. That was a bad learning experience. I'll never buy cheap crap Chinese plywood again. Now, I've got a lot of cheap Chinese tools in my shop, and that's a topic for another day entirely, depending on what tools they are. But when it comes to plywood, I'm done buying cheap Chinese plywood. That is so aggravating to waste a full day's worth of labor just to save a couple bucks in the long run. I'm not doing it anymore. So what I did instead is Sunday morning, bright and early. I stayed up Sunday night getting the metal Vise video and all that stuff ready. Got like 4 hours sleep, and then woke up really early and went an hour and 15 minutes north of here to the nearest Home Depot and bought some made in the USA plywood, some Pure Bond plywood. And I haven't cut any of it up yet, but I really like the stuff so far as just my handling with it back and forth. And I've got 12 sheets of 3/4 inch plywood to get me started on this miter saw station wall that I will be starting as soon as I wrap up this vlog video. But lesson learned, I will never buy cheap Chinese plywood again. Oh, and especially considering, did you guys see the 60 Minutes investigation on lumber liquidators? For too high levels of formaldehyde in their laminate flooring. And regardless of whether it's too high or not too high, that's beside the point. Investigators went overseas and actually were in the manufacturing facilities that were manufacturing this crap and asked specifically, is this CARB 2 compliant, which is the whole safety ratings or whatever for California. Is this CARB 2 compliant? And they said, no, it is not, but it's labeled as CARB 2 compliant. They know they are mislabeling stuff on purpose just to save a couple bucks. So, like I said, I know it probably goes on with tools too, and that's a topic for another day, but as far as plywood goes, I've learned my lesson. I'm not buying any more of that cheap Chinese crap. Got another sticker from the cabinet. This one is from Daniel from Germany. Mighty Wood. Mightywood.net. He's also on YouTube, and I will put the sticker on the cabinet. Also from Frederick Ebert, I got some U.S. Marines stickers. I will put those in the cabinet as well. Thank you very much. Couple shout outs real quick. Phil Sale put together my completed router lift, the lever activated router lift. Did a very good job, and judging by the fence, he used the shop vac version. So that's the first pictures of the shop vac version I've seen. Good job, Phil. Appreciate it. James Vigil, I'm so sorry, Vigil. James put together the bunk bed plan that I got, and it's he painted it green. I don't know what's even more cool. I'm a big fan of green, obviously, if you don't know by my website and all that stuff, but I don't know which is more cool, the fact that he painted it green or the fact that he's got some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle bed covers on it. So very cool. It's a good dad right there. Green with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle bed covers. That's what's up right there. Also, Guy built a, this is interesting. He sent me pictures of his loft bed with a slide on one side, a climbing wall on the other side, and some LED lights underneath it. That's also pretty darn cool. Loft beds are awesome for gaining space in small rooms. I had I've had 3 different versions growing up, and then the first couple years of myself living on my own. So big fan of loft beds. They're very awesome. You might as well name the city I live in Seattle, Washington this time of the year, because it rains like 5 days a week. It's ridiculous. But I've got a break in the weather, so I'm going to get off here so I can actually cut some of these full sheets with the garage door open. And I'll see you guys later.
I got one question for you. It's, can you deal with that?